Giulia and Sofia's Enchanted London Quest. Once upon a time, in the cozy, sun-drenched neighborhood of Coconut Grove, two sisters, Giulia and Sofia, were packing for their next big adventure. But this time, their suitcases weren't filled with just clothes and snacks. They packed magic maps, enchanted spyglasses, and their favorite sparkly sneakers that made running feel like flying. "London is calling," said Giulia, holding up a glowing postcard that had just arrived from a mysterious owl messenger. Sofia gasped. And a postcard says there's a secret magical challenge hidden across the city, and only two brave sisters can solve it. The girls looked at each other with wide eyes and grinned. Their magical map shimmered and glowed as it guided them to the Tower of London. A raven wearing tiny glasses greeted them. "Welcome, chosen ones," he cawed. "To find your first clue, you must speak the secret word of the ravens." Sofia knelt down and whispered, "On, feather whirl." Suddenly, a swirl of feathers rose in the air, and a hidden door creaked open inside the tower wall. The girls stepped through and found a glowing scroll with the riddle, "Find the bridge that dances in the sky, where two hearts meet and colors fly." They were off to their next stop. Following their map, the sisters arrived at the tower bridge. But this wasn't the ordinary one tourists visit. This one shimmered with enchanted colors, and the towers whispered ancient rhymes. To solve the next clue, Giulia and Sofia had to match glowing light panels across the walkway by stomping and spinning on special tiles. Each correct combo sent a burst of color into the sky. They played the bridge ballet, spinning and leaping as the bridge lit up in rainbow waves. At the very top of the tower, a tiny knight made of sugar cubes handed them the next scroll. "To meet a clock that sings to stars, find the bell that hums from far in." Big Ben wasn't just a clock in the magical version of London. It was alive, with a kind old face and a deep musical laugh. "Oh, you're just in time," he boomed. "I've lost my chime. Can you help me find it?" Giulia and Sofia followed musical notes that floated through the air like glowing butterflies. They solved riddles from talking pigeons and tickled stone lions who sang when laughed at. When they placed the final golden note back inside the clock's heart, Big Ben rang out in a joyful melody that echoed across the city. As thanks, he gave them a pendant shaped like a moon. "And use this when the fog grows thick," he said with a wink. Next, the sisters visited the Queen's secret garden at Buckingham Palace, where the hedges grew and rearranged themselves when you weren't looking. "And I think this garden's alive," whispered Sofia. A rose with a tiny crown giggled. "All you'll need teamwork to pass." They entered the maze and were quickly separated by twisting walls. But instead of panicking, they used their enchanted walkie leaves to guide each other with riddles, laughter, and secret rhymes only sisters could understand. When they finally met at the garden center, the maze bowed to them, and a crown of ivy landed on each of their heads. "On to the final test," said Giulia, her eyes sparkling. Their map led them to the giant London Eye. But when they arrived, the entire wheel was covered in thick, swirling fog. The sky turned gray-blue, and the air shimmered with mystery. A voice echoed from the clouds. "Only those who trust each other completely can light the way forward." The girls stepped into a glass pod, which began to rise slowly into the mist. Inside were dozens of levers, glowing buttons, and spinning dials, none labeled. "Maybe if we just start pressing things," Sofia suggested. But every wrong press made the fog thicker. Giulia took Sofia's hand. "And let's stop. Let's listen." Together, they closed their eyes. The moon pendant from Big Ben began to glow, casting soft silver light through the fog. With that light, the girls saw the control panel form into a heart-shaped keyhole. Both hands," Giulia said, "and at the same time." They reached out together. Click. Suddenly, the fog broke apart like glitter dust, and the London Eye rose above the clouds. Below them, the entire city twinkled like a magical map. In the distance, fireworks shaped like dragons, clocks, and roses lit up the sky. That night, as they tucked into their enchanted hotel room shaped like a giant teacup, Sofia looked up at the floating stars on their ceiling. "And I think the magic wasn't just in the map or the clues," she whispered. Giulia nodded, "And it was in us. We made it work because we believed in each other." From that day on, whether they were exploring real cities or magical lands in their dreams, Giulia and Sofia knew that the greatest adventures always came from courage, imagination, and sisterhood.